Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ Goons podcast. I'm your host, Tim, the Mushmaster Spriggs. And with me, as always, every week is.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball. Glad to be back for another episode. What's up with you, Tim? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It was an excellent Friday.
Really?
I was lifting weights in the gym and I'm playing with like the high 300s as far as weight is concerned in the core lifts. I'm getting very strong. I'm getting
You just
very
playing
jacked.
around up there? Just playing
I'm
around in the
I'm not
300s?
I don't play
Okay.
with weights. I lift them very seriously, but I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more buff, which is great for pro wrestling. So the numbers in the gym are going great. I just got home. We're recording late on Friday night, folks. And the reason being is because of our schedules and later than usual because I had a very good training session at Crazy 88 Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Elkridge, Maryland. Uh, Coach Tyron Murphy, the guy who helped me become the best grappler in the world, ran class tonight. There was 40 people on the mats tonight, and that's very special. I don't think that happens very often in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, that
And
is a lot.
that's a lot of people for it not being a seminar and for it
And
being
on a
a
Friday?
Friday night nogi class, all those people on
A
there.
nogi? Ew.
Yes, it was very sweaty. We were able to make sweat angels on the mat tonight. And it was so much fun because we had Greg Linenberger and we had
Oh,
Kieran
Greg was over there
Keecha.
for real? And
Yeah, he was there.
Kieran's here?
Yeah,
Kieran's from
Greg and Kieran.
Canada. What's he doing here? What are you talking about?
He came down here for a little taste of freedom because apparently in Canada, it's not, there's not a lot of freedom going on up there. I'm not an expert, but from all the Canadians I know, they're complaining about Trudeau and him infringing upon their
Uh,
inalienable rights. So he came down to Freedom Land and
we're
he
Freedom
decided,
Land, Insurrection Land is Freedom Land.
hey, I mean, for him, yeah, for us people, it's not the same. But he came down here for some freedom and some quality jujitsu, and we had an excellent practice today. Shout out to Ty for being one of the best coaches in the world, and shout out to Crazy 88 for having a great class with 40 people. And that's why we're here today. So I am on cloud nine. I have not eaten a full meal yet because I rushed here from the gym, took a shower, got myself a beer, had a beer in the shower while I was getting cleaned up for this
Oh, you had a
podcast.
beer in the
And have
shower?
a shower beers. Shout out to you know who you are if you're watching this. I have a lady friend that put me on to shower beers,
Oh, you
and
have a lady friend. Okay.
I have a lot of
Okay.
lady
Yeah.
friends, but
He has a
there are very
lady
few that I
friend.
consider special to me, and she's very special to me because
Oh,
she taught me about shower beers. And this podcast is presented by Shower Beers. More specifically, tonight I have a Blue Moon Mango Wheat. So
ooh, I like Blue Moon too. Oh, I'm so mad like that we're not actually filming at your house in the studio where I can try to grab one.
yeah, next time you come here, I'm gonna have a fridge full of alcohol, so you can definitely slide through. We'll get hammered during the show, not before the show, because I feel as though if we get hammered during the show, it'll be better because by the time the show is over with, we'll be hammered and like all the quality of the content that we have will be still high and we'll be loose, but like we won't be so fucked up that the show suffers. So
Tim,
next time we come.
I'm a lady. I don't get hammered. I sip drinks, I do
Well,
not get
so
hammered.
women.
I do
Oh,
not get
okay.
hammered.
So like women don't poop and women don't get
Oh,
hammered
I
or
definitely take
slizzard.
shits, but I don't get hammered.
Okay,
Also,
whatever.
and I guess we talked about it on the Patreon, but like now on the normal episode, it's like I need a new car as my car got totaled. Like, and then what really sucks is like, so I guess when was it? We're filming on Friday. So last Sunday, I was going home from having dinner with a friend and I was on Florida Avenue in the city and some car came down going like 100 miles an hour, hit a car behind me, hit a car in front of me and spun out and crashed. And then they like ran out the car. So my car is totaled because they mangled like the back of my car. And like, that's not even the bad part because like I'm not hurt. It's like, I don't want to have to go out and buy a new car. Like I've only had that car since September. Somebody send me a car. Somebody come over and just buy me a car, please.
You need somebody to just buy you nice stuff just because.
I mean, I'll even pay for it. I just don't want to have to physically go out and like figure out buying a car.
Well, I have an uncle that's very good with cars. Maybe you should hit him up.
He
Or
was just
I'll
trying
leave
to
him
take
know.
my car. He was not trying to find a car for me. Your uncle was
Oh, he
trying to
wasn't trying to
take.
fix your car?
He wanted to that. He wanted to buy the MR2. Like, you know, he wanted to take the car from me. Everybody loved that car, my old car, you know?
Yeah, but they wanted to fit. He wanted to. It would have taken forever to fix your shit, by the way. But that's a totally another story that the fans aren't interested in. The listeners aren't interested in. But I will say this. You need to be walking around with a neck brace. Like I said last time, where's
Oh,
your
I
neck
am. I
brace?
am. I'm in my
Where's your
physical
crutches? Like,
therapy. Yo, the process is on. It's going. I was in physical therapy today. I go back on Tuesday to read like the x-rays. Like, I'm gonna fix up my posture. Actually, like, let me feel get my posture all right. You know, I'm gonna be right now. Like, and I'm going to a nice therapist, like a physical therapist. No, he's actually a chiropractor. Like, kind of like when we were talking about Dr. Rose, like, oh, chiropractors are the truth. I never realized that. Like, so
I would have been like the Bama from Half Baked, where I said, like, the doctor says I need a backiotomy. I would be selling that shit for real. Like, I would sell it like I got hit with a nuke. You know, I'm like,
all
they say
right,
I got the
so
black lung pup.
tell the people what is a backiotomy and sell that joint. Sell that joint.
I
Sell a
don't know what it
backiotomy,
is. I just
fam.
know I
Sell a
need one,
backiotomy.
and I need money. Well,
I know. I need money. I need money because I'm about to have to buy another car. I made like 4
no,
payments on that car.
the hit and runners, they're gonna be buying you a new car. Speak that
Yo.
shit into existence.
No, I will get a check. I'll get a check from that and I'll get a settlement from the car and like, or however much I get back from like whatever they value the car to be. I need to find out my mileage. I don't know how to figure out my mileage. Where would that be?
It would be on your car that they
I don't have the
total.
car. They towed it away.
Did you take any pictures of the accident?
Yeah. I never sent them to you. I guess I didn't.
You can
Damn.
send it to me. But while we're on the subject of vehicular crimes, high speed chases and whatnot, your boy Cain
Uh,
Velasquez caught a case. And
Free
I,
Cain. Free Cain. The
free
martial arts
Cain,
community says free
free Cain
Cain.
Velasquez. Now listen, free Cain
We
has different
know.
connotations depending on what you're getting into. But you know, the BJJ Goons podcast represents the culture, and there's different aspects of the culture. So some people be like, free Cain. What do you mean? What kind of Cain? We're talking about Cain Velasquez. And as a wrestling fan, I'm very disappointed as well because he had a lot of potential as a pro wrestler after his professional fighting career in the cage, his MMA career. And I wish that if the WWE had just kept him on, none of this would have happened, or maybe it would have happened. Overall, I'm just very disappointed in all this, and it's very sad. And it's a huge. Let's just tell the story. Cain was in a 11-mile high-speed chase after an individual by the name of Harry Eugene Galarte.
I didn't realize it was an 11-mile. And now after being hit by somebody that was going high speeds, I realized like that shit is scary.
Yes. Now, Cain rammed into the truck that Harry Eugene Galarte was driving, and he shot a 40 caliber handgun multiple times into the truck. Now, with that being said, you're probably thinking Cain Velasquez is a nut job. He probably has CTE. He went full CTE rage on this fellow. Well, here's why. Harry Eugene Galarte was charged with molesting Cain Velasquez's young relative. The young relative was 10 years old and was victimized at a local daycare center, according to records, 100 times.
Over 100, I think they say.
Over 100.
Or something like that. We're in that ballpark, or you know, that's
Yes. And if you're wondering how Galarte got access to these children, Galarte lives in the same building as the daycare center, and Galarte's mother owns the daycare center. And it sounds crazy, but unfortunately, in cases like this, typically it's either someone that knows the child personally or someone that has access to these children that does these type of things. And it's very unfortunate. So Cain, in my opinion, we can get into yours if you want to say yours. In my opinion, he was justified in lighting this motherfucker up. Unfortunately, Galarte wasn't the only individual in the car at the time.
Or was he the
Galarte,
individual hit?
he was not the individual hit by the shots. Galarte was in the vehicle with two of his older relatives. Cain Velasquez hit Galarte's stepfather. And after this incident, Cain was arrested during a traffic stop. My analysis so far, it's a wrap for Cain. Yes, if he had hit the pedophile, he would have been in court and would have gotten a lighter sentence. Maybe they would have said jurors prudence, and he would have gotten off. Unfortunately, he hit a bystander that just so happened to be in the car.
And unfortunately, I don't think even if he hit the right person, it would be hard to get off legally.
If I was a juror, I would say jurors prudence. I said
I mean,
dismiss the
like,
case. But not a lot of jurors know that shit or know who Cain is. And a lot of people are like, and when they're jurors and they're thinking, I'm just gonna play it by the book. So maybe he wouldn't have gotten off, Nico, but he would have had a better chance than hitting a bystander because he could face more than 20 years in the Bing. Let me tell you some of these charges that Cain
because you gotta
Velasquez.
assume, like, for him to get to like court though, that would assume that like he doesn't take like a deal, because like if you killed somebody and you're outright, like, so what are the chances of, that's a good question actually for a lawyer, like what are the chances if he did hit the right person, or that this is gonna get to court as at all, as opposed to him just taking a deal? Because like obviously you know you did what you did in the, like, so would it even get to court, or you just getting offered a deal?
That is a good point. I didn't think about taking a deal.
And well, that's what happens a lot of times, you know.
In my eyes, when I think of taking a deal, I think about you're in a racketeering enterprise type deal where if you snitch, you're dead anyway. So don't take a
Nah,
deal.
everybody's settling out kind of thing. Like,
A lot of people settle. Most people settle. Very few people will eat the time
I
because
mean, especially like if you did it, like, and it's like, yeah.
you don't. If you know you're gonna have to sit down and you know you're busted, or you just know for a fact that you go into a situation like Cain did and said, "Yo, I'm gonna do this shit, and if I had to sit down, I'm gonna sit down." Taking the deal isn't a big deal because you're not really snitching on nobody.
No,
You
you just
did
have
it,
to accept the charges and plead guilty to whatever, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and have a real good lawyer.
Yeah.
But let me read off some of these charges that our boy Cain is facing.
Yeah.
He could
Let's
face more than
let's see what
20
we got to deal
years
with.
for, let's talk about what he's got to deal with in no particular order. Attempted murder, shooting at an occupied motor vehicle, 3 counts of assault with a firearm, 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, willfully discharging a firearm from a vehicle, carrying a loaded firearm with intent to commit a felony. It looks like it's a wrap for your boy Cain.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this whole situation, Nico? Now that we have the facts that we know, according to Mark Romundi of ESPN.com, who's a very reputable mixed martial arts journalist. What do you think of the case? What do you think about the situation? How would you handle it? Are you all for free the boy Cain, free Cain, hashtag free Cain?
I mean, yeah, I definitely think I support the free Cain movement. I'm definitely on that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, I understand the chances of him getting out of jail. Like, I just found out, like maybe last week, that Fat Trail's back in jail. Like, that man can't get out of jail. Like, and he's back in jail.
Again?
Yes, off serving off some dumb ass gun charges that he had before. And then like, so he got taken in DC, and then he still had pending charges in Virginia, and they wouldn't just waive it as like time served. So they put him in for like another year and a half. So like, when people are always like, oh, you should have just like left it up to the courts and this and that, like a lot of people that have molested children get off, and a lot of family members even like protect them, or they don't want to like speak up, or they're like, we're going to handle it our way, so they're never going to speak about it publicly. So it's definitely understandable, the situation. It's sad how it played out. Like, it's like, you don't want to say you're a proponent for organized crime, but it's like, yeah, you wish he wouldn't have done it in that way. Like, going down 10 miles down a highway is like not the best. Maybe we could have like snuck up on him, not had any more like, collateral damage. Although there was only one victim, apparently. He didn't hit anybody else. It's crazy though. And it's like, I don't know. I think it just like reflects a reality of like what happens underground a lot in America, in the underground America.
You're right. The last sentence that you had, it shows you what goes down in the underground of America. And I think that most people, they pretend like that aspect of humanity doesn't exist, as far as being willing to put in work to make a point or to find justice in your own hands. And they act as though people don't really do that. But I'm of the school and I'm of the background where if someone were to do this to someone that you care about, you got to make that decision of how you're going to handle it. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get back outside of the criminal justice system, because for people of color, most of the time it's not going to work out in our favor either way. And unfortunately, when it comes to child molestation and situations similar, these people get off a lot of the time, or they find a way to cop a deal where they can go living life as a member of society without that scarlet letter hanging over them. I'm really disappointed that this happened. First of all, I feel for the victim, for them to be victimized at a daycare center in a place where they're supposed to be safe. And it's fucked up because the way our society is, that parents can't be home with their kids, or relatives can't take care of their kids. 100 years ago, or even a little bit sooner than that, you were taken care of by family members if you were fortunate. Now you got complete strangers watching your kids, and then this happens, and this could happen to anybody. This isn't just some extenuating circumstance dealing with someone, and it can't happen. It can happen to anybody. It happened to Cain Velasquez, or somebody in his family, and he was left with that decision. And he made a brave move. I think it's brave for you to be willing to do that. And I feel as though it's righteous to go after someone that went after a young child. And he's a person of color. He's probably seen it 1,000 times. The justice system didn't work in his way, and he's going to take it into his own hands. And to be 100 with you, that's how we should handle people that deal with little children like this. The bad part is he wasn't smart about it. He didn't plan the shit out. It was probably just, I'm going to find this guy and I'm going to kill him. And he ended up getting somebody hit that wasn't his the intended target. And even if he does plead guilty to this crime, he would have had a way more leniency in a jury trial, I feel, if he had hit the guy that he meant to hit.
Yeah.
And that's why he's going to have to sit down for a long time. I'm all for freeing Cain Velasquez. He might have to serve some time for hitting somebody that was an innocent bystander. But Harry Eugene Galarte should be the one that's in the story, not Cain. He's the guy that should probably get shot, or when he goes to prison for doing that to a 10-year-old, he should be getting stabbed up in prison. Cain is the only thing Cain did wrong was that he didn't plan it out better to end this guy.
But I think it's also important to like take into consideration it's like how the victim would feel about it. Cause when you're talking about a 10-year-old girl and like murder, and it's like, I know I can think of like two like examples, like one of like Maya Angelou, she was raped as a child, and then she was mute for years and years because she felt guilty. I think they killed the guy, uncles, I don't know, but she didn't speak about it. And then like in cases with like favela law, like I have known of a situation where something happened in the favela and the option was given to the victim, and it's like, well, like we can kill the dude or we can let him go. And it's like they didn't want that on their conscience. So like
They
that
didn't want
wasn't,
murdering a pedophile on their conscience.
yeah, that wasn't necessarily a pedophile. It's like, but still somebody that have violated. And it's like just having that on their conscience. It's like me, I would have been like gung ho, like, yeah, go ahead. But it's like, so like sometimes like you got to think of like what that, like, especially if that's your relative, like the psychological effect of not only being like sexually abused, but like losing a relative because of it. And like, how does a 10-year-old process that? And like, are they really going to deal with the feelings of guilt and all of that? So, it's like we're all like, yeah, he should have killed him, but then like when we think about it, like how is a 10-year-old going to process those feelings of guilt that now because of an interaction with her, like a man is actually dead?
I can't say how I would feel in that situation.
Because at 10, like you don't even like, it's hard to process what happened to you in the first place and how wrong it was, and then like it's crazy. It's a lot like,
If you do the deed the right way, maybe the victim doesn't even know that the perpetrator got wiped off the face of the earth.
it's funny you should mention it like that, because I have been watching Dexter and I'm on like season 5. I've been watching it, and like, but who has that kind of psychopath clarity of going about it like that? But yeah, that
If
was
I'm
probably
gonna
been
do
the
some
best
shit like
option.
that, I'm gonna plan that shit out.
Yo, but how do you get the skills to plan out? Like, I mean,
I don't think
yeah,
it's
it's
that hard to get
like,
away with that
how many
shit. You
white
just had to
belts
be
think they're
patient.
planning out their guard for?
But if you're a strategist, I feel as though if you're a strategist in one part of your life, you could be a strategist in other parts. You just have to ask the right questions and find the right mentors. It's like anything. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people that have killed pedophiles before, or there's plenty of guys that Cain can get in touch with that could just handle that, or like, hey, if you want to do this, this is the guy you need to talk to. We're gonna handle this and we'll never speak of it again. And then no one has to know. But Cain just was like, I can't handle it. And you can't judge a man by what he does in a situation like that. If someone were to do that to a young person in my family, I'd probably handle it. I mean, I'd want the same result, but I would handle it different. But who's to say? We
All right,
can't
I have
all
a question
say.
about how you handle it. All right, so let's think. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you need to body someone, do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you have a solid squad, like you hitting up the homies, or are you trying to find like one computer nerd that can get you on the black web and hiring someone to minimize your loose ends and have somebody else do it?
I would have to vet people personally. I'm not going through a third party.
You're not going black web.
No, it had to be somebody that I know is a hitter and I know personally. And I talk to them about the situation, how they feel, and I would talk to a real hitter, which ain't hard to find. Life is cheap anyway. Like, let's keep it 100. You probably know people that life is cheap. People get knocked
You
off
know
for
what else is cheap,
anything.
ladies and gentlemen? Our Patreon. And for just
Yes,
$5 a
for
month.
$5, you can learn how I would kill a pedophile and get away with it for $5 a
Yeah.
month at
Yeah.
patreon.com/bjjgoons. Besides that, we have plenty of technique tutorials and
That all end in
instructionals.
living and your opponent still is alive. They have just died, but
Yes.
they're still breathing.
Yes, and we have bonus episodes. We have live town halls that are interactive. Like, it's
Uh,
just like a little cool get together on Zoom where we talk about pressing subjects.
and we incriminate ourselves in further crimes.
I'm not going to be incriminating further crimes.
Yo, it sounds
I'm a
like we're
nice.
incriminating
I'm a
ourselves. That's why I had
nice.
to cut you off. I was like, no, we don't know. Life is not
Life
cheap.
is cheap. I'm gonna say
We
this
do
for all
not
you
know
listening.
hitters.
Life is cheap
We
out
know
here.
accountants.
Death is cheap out here. You can get knocked off for way less than you think. Anyway, free Cain Velasquez. I don't know if he has a GoFundMe, but I would definitely put money on his books. He's probably going to end up running the yard wherever he goes to prison for that tattoo and that size alone, and he can scrap. But prayers up for Cain Velasquez, and definitely prayers up for the victims in this situation. And fuck Harry Eugene Galarte. I hope he dies slow. Nico,
Well,
we got a little bit of a fan interaction this week from our last episode. Would you care to share?
do you have the question somewhere? You want me
I
to?
have the abbreviated question. The person that sent us this DM, I don't know if he or she would like to be outed. I won't say outed.
Drop the
Outed
name.
isn't a very good term. I have an abbreviated question because the message was very long and very detailed, and I liked it because it went in excruciating detail of the situation. It was very well thought out, and I appreciate all interactions with the goons out there. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to send us this message, anonymous. Nico, would you want to read the whole message, or you just want to have the
Find the
question
message.
asked? I have the question this individual asked, and I have a pretty detailed answer. What do you think? Do you want to read the whole DM? It's a long DM. I don't know if the fans want to hear it, or maybe they do.
All right, hold on. Let me go back. I won't read the whole thing. I'll read an abbreviated version. It
Okay.
said, so he said they want to hear their perspective on Black folks in jujitsu because it's wild out here in these streets. So he asked, do you feel you have a responsibility to take up space in a jujitsu class or at an academy, especially in the current climate around race and marginalization in combat sports? Simple. That's it. Nice.
You summarized the question better than I ever could. That's a real life educator right here, folks. Nico is about it. I thought a lot about this question. Shout out to Anonymous for sending this to us. I really appreciate it. And if anyone is interested in sending us messages like this, feel free. I personally don't feel a responsibility to express myself. When I train, I go to train and do me. I let my jujitsu do the talking. I avoid political discussion in the gym because the gym is my happy place. And it's easy for me to say because the gym I attend, I've been there for almost 20 years. I'm a staple at this academy that I train at. However, no matter where I go, I try to mentally make the mats my happy place. With that being said, I believe every person of color should know how to defend themselves in armed and hand-to-hand combat. Because of that, I believe it's important we participate in martial arts. It's exhausting trying to assimilate
That's
oftentimes.
me. That's you.
Oh, that's
That's
you?
my
I'm
shit. That's
sorry.
my shit.
But like I just feel as though it's important that we train as people of color. The world is not a safe place for us. No matter where we go, we have to fight for ourselves, whether it's intellectually, verbally, and sometimes physically. If we look at what's happening in Ukraine, they're saying Black people, Africans, they don't get to go on the trains to the safe zone. It's Ukrainians first. You know, wherever we go, we have to kind of look out for ourselves. And I think as people of color, it's very vital that we learn how to defend ourselves. And very few people already train, but it should be a high percentage of people of color because any day someone can run up on you and just because of who you are or what you look like, they want to take something from you or they want to assault you or abuse you. So, you know, I think it's our prerogative and it's a necessity for us to be out here training. As far as expressing who I am as my views or politically, I think just by existing as a person of color is revolutionary. Just by existing, we're being revolutionary and doing things that we like and training to protect ourselves against a world that is not very comforting and supportive of who we are. So, Anonymous, that's my answer.
And so
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting because not only do you like, did you answer it so you think like, no, you don't feel the need to represent anything. But another thing I feel like you address is like the reason or the motivation like behind training. Like, why are
Hmm.
you on the mats? Like, some people are out there to socialize, some people are out there because they think it's fun, but like, actually expressing like a need to like be able to defend yourself and to like have that knowledge. Like, I tell students all the time, like, that are scared to learn languages. It's like you kind of have to just be selfish with your knowledge, like, because people will always try to like speak to you in your native language, for example, even though you're trying to like speak the language of the country. And it's like, no, I need to learn this
Hmm.
language and not try to revert back to that. It's like you just kind of
Hmm.
got to learn what you want to learn. So it is important to understand like the importance for more people of color to um, learn how to defend themselves, but it's definitely different like when you're going out and you're having to learn how to do it in an environment when you don't have one where you necessarily feel like it's a safe space for you. It's just a useful space, maybe, and that's a different kind of atmosphere, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not, there's very few safe spaces for us. And realizing that, it inspired me to restart BJJ Goons with a different mentality and a different mindset. Like that's why I brought you on. I think we work so well is because we're trying to make a virtual safe space. We're trying to make a podcast safe space for people like us. And by participating in this sport of ours, it's positive. It's very positive. We got to take up space, even if we feel uncomfortable. Fuck it. You think it's gonna be comfortable out here? Because like
Yeah.
you think about it, I
It's
get a lot of
definitely not.
messaging.
I'm from that area, like, because they definitely mention areas in this message. So it's like from like the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, tri-state area. And I definitely grew up in a town where there's not that many Black people. And our classes in high school, like, they were divided into levels. So like it was like 6-0 was honors, 5-0 was average, and 4-0 was below average. And if you were in like 3-0, that was like sped. So I was in like a lot of 6-0 classes, for example. And there was like never any Black kids in there. So it's like being in those situations, it's like never comfortable. And especially if like you're mixed. So it's like, I definitely can relate to that, like whether it be in like your jujitsu school or wherever, and it's exhausting. Like Tim says, and it's like you said, like there's a part in the message where you say you feel like you have to go out there and what was the word they use? Be like a disruptor. And it's like at some point, it's like you have to have the attitude. I think Alec Baldwin said it. He's like, yo, it's not my job to teach you. No, it was Dom Hoskins. He's like, it's not my job to teach you
Hmm.
not to be racist. It's like, and it's like some people are like that. You might be an outgoing and social person and you might kind of want to correct people. It's like, but at some point, there's a difference. Like that's what like Tim was reading off the outline. What I said, it's like it's exhausting to try to assimilate. As someone that's like lived abroad in different cultures, it's like people can accept you. People in Brazil accepted me open-heartedly, but at some point, like it's like you miss that like cultural heritage, that stuff of like, yo, we grew up watching like MTV and like, you have that same background, that same, you know, and people want to like break it down to racism or sometimes, but you think of it as comfort food. It's like, what is your comfort food? And it's like comfort food definitely comes back to your culture and your country and things like that. And it can be exhausting all of the time to be in a space where you don't feel comfortable. So like I like and like what Tim says, it's like you have to acknowledge like when we need to be in those spaces so that we can grow personally as individuals, and we need to be able to take that growth. But at the same time, I've seen people that have no gym to train at, that they're like FaceTiming Master Lloyd and Master Lloyd is watching them drill, and like those are the extremes they've come down to. So it's like you kind of got to like balance it out. Like how can you get that growth that you need and still avoid like racist assholes?
There's gonna be racist assholes no matter what gym you train at. Just look at it as emotional and mental training.
So you got to
Real
strengthen
talk.
that
You're not,
mind. Yes,
yes,
sir.
because if you're able to survive in a situation where people just don't like you just because of the way you look, but you're still able to train, fuck it, man. It's mental
No,
and emotional training. You're gonna be stronger. And then most people quit anyway. So you'll end up outlasting the racists that quit because 99.99999% of the people that start jujitsu never get the black belt. By being a black belt, you're being a revolutionary. And I'll end it at that. Right
Where are
on.
we at? We're at 34 minutes, but let me see if I can find this quote real quick that I saw today.
Find that quote, Nico, because we're both
Oh, I think I
educated
found it real
people.
quick.
We both went to college. Nico sent me the video of her totaled car. That's so fucked up. And the airbag deployed. They fucked your shit up. I don't want to drive in DC, bro. I'm
Okay.
getting.
Yo, I was just stopped at a red light too. I was so mad. 10 o'clock stopped. They just came up like bam, like anyway, so this is from the 50th Law of Power by 50th Cent and Robert Greene, who made the 48 Laws of Power.
I love that book, 48 Laws of Power.
Well, this is the 50th law. So in the ring, our opponents can gouge us with their nails, butt us with their heads, and leave a bruise, but we don't denounce them for it or get upset with them or regard them as violent types. We keep an eye on them, not out of hatred or suspicion, just keeping a friendly distance. We need to do that in other areas. We need to excuse what our sparring partners do and just keep our distance without suspicion or hatred. And that's actually a quote from Marcus Aurelius.
Once again, Marcus Aurelius, stoic, warrior. He's got it right. If someone doesn't like you for being black or brown or gay or whatever you are, realize that when you're sparring, they're going to try to fuck you up regardless to the best of their ability. And in these streets, someone's going to try to fuck you up to the best of their ability. So at the end of the day, you got to charge it to the game and consider it another training exercise. Think of it like you're one of the X-Men in the danger room. You're just getting attacked by someone that doesn't like you. So that's going to force you to train harder, smarter. And if you go in a competition, people are probably going to be way nicer and way less racist if you're dealing with racists every day at the gym. So change your perspective. It's okay if someone tries to sneak diss you in the room. Who cares about that? It's not like it's your friend sneak dissing you. And Nico, I saw your Instagram story this week. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but you're talking about friends sneak dissing each other.
Oh, that wasn't even a sneak diss. It was like all out. So it's like,
can you give us some background, please?
Yeah. So it's like, so the blue belt or the black belt wisdom that I asked about being held accountable. So I had like shared it to my story and I had like low key tagged some people in it because this is a discussion that I hear all the time. And like,
this is a response to last week. We had a black belt wisdom about whether or not a lower belt should be held accountable for skipping practice. And before you continue, I have to make an aside. I believe that a lot of people's responses were not based on what exactly I said. Because if you listen to what I said that if you make the commitment to be a part of the competition team, if you say you're going to be here and you're going to be a quality training partner and help push people to be champions, it doesn't matter what belt rank you are, you have to make the sacrifice and be a person of your word and show up to practice and do your best. No shade to anyone that disagreed with me, but there was a lot of responses that completely overlooked what I said. No shade though. I prefaced what I said, but go ahead, Nico.
All right. So it's like, yeah, on top of what you said and on top of what are, the rules for the gym and the policy that person might pertain to, the gym that person might pertain to. One of the people was like, yeah, I know, I'm trying. The other one, I woke up in the morning and I shouldn't even check my messages because I try not to be on Instagram when I first wake up in the morning, but I wake up and I have 3 long ass paragraphs.
Ooh, they sent you a book.
Yes, of which I did not read because I did catch a glimpse of the last paragraph, and the last paragraph said, I will not be held to the same standards as someone that lives at home with their family. And that was just so disrespectful to a friend and a teammate. And it's like,
This was between two people at a gym that trained with each other, and they put that in the public comment section.
No, that was in a DM to me. So like, and like, here's the thing. Like, I tagged
Oh,
both of them. I tagged two people in this post when I shared it, but I tagged it in a way that you couldn't see it. So nobody could see it. So it's not like public. Each of them were being held accountable for their
okay.
own shit. And they couldn't see that each other was tagged. Maybe one had seen that one reposted it, but it's like, so it was a post about personal accountability.
Yes.
And then like, there was like, and there was also something about staph infection. And it's like, yo, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I was kind of just saying as it like lighthearted as a joke. But for you to like, when we're on a post about personal accountability, like you say, like you don't feel like people reacted about it. How does personal accountability have to do with like anybody else, let alone somebody that lives at home with their family, let alone understanding like, you know, what does that have to do with training or whatever or whatnot? And it's like, you're supposed to be friends and you're supposed to be teammates. And it's like, yo, when I say curate your community, like this isn't like, that's not the kind of energy that I want around me. And like then like, cause then I was posting rants about it. So like I posted something about it cause I blocked them from my Instagram. I blocked their number. I've unblocked their number because I have their drill at my fucking house. So I eventually have to talk to them. But I was talking to Mike Easton and he was like, damn, I'm like BJJ bitch assness. And
About the
then
post.
no, about that attitude. That's BJJ just bitch
Oh
assness.
yeah, that is BJJ bitch
And it's like,
asses.
you know
Yeah.
that they always like to talk shit. And it's like, that's what people, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Like that this conversation is being had at all. Like, because if you're supposed to fucking check into training or not check into training, like you do what it is. If you checked into training, you're not going, say you're not going. But that's why, and then my reply to Mike Eason is like, that's why I love it. It's like, first of all, if you're in training, and you're talking too much, Master Lloyd's going to tell you to shut up and drill. And if you keep talking, he's going to separate you from your drilling part. You're like, you're in elementary school. And then
This
the
is how
same
it
thing,
is.
it's
Yeah.
like when you're like his other little threat is like when you complaining because you did bad at a tournament, you out there pouting like you got an attitude. He'll be like, I can just pull you from competition, shorty, like I do the little kids, and we can just go back and we can drill it and we can work on it until you're ready to compete again.
But you got to carry people like that nowadays,
And that's
man.
why I was like, and that's why I was just, it's like I blocked him. I was like, you my friend. This is why, like, you're not my teammate. And it's like, not to say like I feel bad. I do train with these people. I was like, but it's like, that's like when we talk like, and just like, dang, it's just the disrespect. Like, how could you go, like, what does him living at home with his parent, like, how disrespectful is that? Like,
In this economy, first of all, in this economy, if you can find a nice place to stay and you can just vibe out, you really won. I mean, these gas prices is high as fuck, and like it's expensive to live, at least where we live at. That's a low blow, and that's whack. First of all, it's an ad hominem attack. Second of all, he didn't even address the issue that he's fucking up. He conceded that he's fuck or
but
she.
it's
I don't
like,
know who. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
he
But go.
didn't, no, I'm interrupting you. He didn't address the issue, but it's like, I feel dumb for thinking that he would address the issue because the only reason that I asked you the question was because I've gotten so tired of them discussing the issue because it's an issue. So I was like,
They're
yo,
both skipping practice.
it's like,
What exactly is the situation? They're both skipping.
I'll tell you when we get off of that line because you know
Okay.
everybody in this situation, and
Okay.
like it'll just be like boom, boom, boom. But it's just like
All right.
these lower, but it's like, and it's cool. We understand, like again, like Tim said, it's cool if you want to do fuck all and be like, I'm doing fuck
Yeah,
all.
it's
Say
fine.
you're gonna do fuck all.
But don't tell me you're gonna show up to
Like,
practice and train hard and be there consistently. Just
no,
keep it 100.
because we have a friend. There's one in the crew that do that. He do that. And not only does he do fuck all, he comes on and he gets everybody riled up. But we know, like, he would never say he was coming to training. He would never check in, so nobody gets mad at him for checking in and not say, because like he doesn't do fuck all, like, and
It's
we
the
don't expect
disappointment
it from him.
factor.
Like, so don't try
Yeah.
to be something that you're not. It's that authenticity kind of thing, you know.
It's called being a poser. And that's it. When I see posers, I get secondhand embarrassment. In pro wrestling, there are guys that say they're about it, or they're down to train or be a champion or whatever. and they never show up to train, or they're just full of shit. It happens in every walk of life, and I get secondhand embarrassment by it. But I get infuriated when it affects me. But what makes it even worse, and it's like they stab you and they twist the blade in when they know they're fucking wrong, but then instead of admitting to it, they go for low blows shit like that. And that's a violation. That is BJJ
Uh,
bitch assness. Where's my gavel?
I got
Yeah,
sound
there you
effects, but they
go.
might go out too loud. Too loud. All right, we have 45 minutes now.
Okay.
Because we timing stuff now, y'all. We timing stuff. We keeping Tim on the
All right.
schedule.
So we're looking at the outline right now. There's two more things. I think this one question, this YouTube comment would take precedent. I mean, we can talk about Nicholas Marigali doing no-gi later on.
Wait, what the other question was what it takes to be a good teammate. How did we not just answer that though?
I think we did
what
just
else are
answer
you
that.
looking at?
Okay.
We answered that one.
All right, we did. All right.
we,
So to be a good
we've
teammate, you
explained
have
to
to
you what it
show up.
takes.
You have to show up to practice consistently. If you're
Be
gonna do it,
authentic.
be authentic. You have to train hard. No BJJ bitch assness. You give your best. You don't do dick stuff in practice. You apply submissions with love, and you just try to be better, and you try to bring people up. That's what being a good teammate is. You show up to practice consistently. You're not an asshole. You give as much as you take, and you don't do sly shit like you say microaggression type stuff like, oh, you're so strong, or you make excuses. You go there, you train hard, you treat your partners like you would want to be treated. You give your best. You don't try to hurt them. You come to practice in shape. You train as hard as you can. And that's what you do. And if you get called out for being a bad teammate, you do better. And don't just give lip service. You do better, and you don't sneak diss them off of some ad hominem attack that doesn't have anything to do with the situation in hand. That's how you're a good teammate, Franz Saint Fleur. I think I pronounced your name, Franz Saint Fleur. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
We just need to stick with anonymous. We need to stick with anonymous.
Well, he put the comment in the comment section.
I mean,
my
but then
bad.
they could have seen it. Like, if you stick with it, I'm just trying to help with the flow and the pronunciation. We're just trying to play it. I'm just trying to fake it till we make it. Tim, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You be authentic.
No,
you be authentic
because
authenticity is what makes a good teammate.
Well, listen, I'm being authentic as possible, trying to say that I don't pronounce French. I believe this is French correctly. If I butchered your name, I'm sorry. It is a blue moon in my system, and the fact that I've been training all day. But hopefully that answered your question, Franz. And Anonymous, thank you for sending us this message. I read it multiple times. We didn't hit you back in the DMs until recently because we were trying to rack our brains around answering this question as best as possible.
No, yeah, like, I mean, we could have responded. Like, basically what we did is, like, I seen the message and then I just went to talk to Tim, and then me and Tim talked to each other and we didn't talk to you. And then I was like, oh shit, Tim.
We have to respond.
But that's what happened. It
but
was
we think about
it was a thought-provoking question. Like, yeah, it was like it was long. So like
it was a book, and I appreciate it because it shows me two things. One, that the issues people face in training are universal, and two, that people really fuck with us and really listen to the podcast, and it pushes me to keep giving you guys quality content like we always try to do. And I appreciate it. Shout out to all the goon squad out there, for all the killers and $100 billers. So Nico, we've been here for almost an hour. Is there anything you want to add, anything you want to plug before we go home?
That I'm pretty amazing. Yeah. I mean, but like that, you can all follow me on like Instagram and whatnot. On the Instagram, I be on the gram at no new Nico. That's no_new_Nico, NICO. And to stop by for velajujitsu.com. So where you can get your BJJ Goons merch. We have the Green Goons hoodies and the Interim These Nuts t-shirts. And as we all know, Gordon Ryan still will not take no fights with nobody. So, or I guess he's got an ADCC, but he won't take no fights with Tim. So that would be a pussy that Tim is forming.
What's that smell?
Pussy, le vagina.
I smell.
Et qui est formando
I smell.
avec la main. Here, avec les mains. Je parle un peu de français. you know.
Gato.
Anyway, yeah. So go to favelaJujitsu.com to get that BJJ Goons merch. And if you want 2 extra episodes a week, go to patreon.com
A week or a
/
month?
BJJ Goons. We're gonna give it to you like a month, but like if you just sign up today, then you could probably get 2 extra episodes a week for a month because you can go back and get the old ones, Tim. That's what I was trying to get at.
You get all the bonus episodes since we started the Patreon a few months ago. I don't know when we started the Patreon.
No one knows shit.
We don't know, but it keeps on getting better. We got bonus techniques. We got bonus episodes. We got town halls. We got exclusive merch that's coming very soon. And shout out to all the members of the Patreon family. You can catch me at Tim Spriggs BJJ, which was created by Blue Edge Business Solutions. They made it so that I can take private lesson clients on there. All you have to do is sign up online. I can give you private lessons both in person and virtually. I can create a game plan for you. And on top of that, you can book me for a seminar. So all you got to do is go to timspriggsbjj.com. And you can catch me on Instagram at timspriggsbjj. It's the same as my Facebook. I don't really go on Facebook. I get a lot of my interactions on Instagram. So follow me, like all my stuff at patreon.com/ I'm sorry, timspriggsbjj on Instagram, and follow us at BJJ Goons Podcast on Instagram as well, because that's where we post our clips. That's why we post clips of our Patreon on there. So we post all kinds of cool stuff on both of our social medias. So check us out there. Thank you to Anonymous for sending us this message. Free Cain Velasquez. Shout out to Franz St. Fleur for sending us a message on our YouTube channel at patreon.com on YouTube. I'm sorry, I keep on saying patreon.com. BJJ Goons at YouTube on YouTube. I'm losing it, Nico. I'm sorry. But yeah, patreon.com/BJJ Goons. Go to our YouTube channel at BJJ Goons on YouTube.
I'm just fucking with him now. He's dry. Like,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just fucking with him because I'm waiting for him to end the episode so we can get some tea and I can
This
get
has
some
been
more
the
tequila.
BJJ Goons podcast. Thanks for watching. Stay safe though. Free Cain. Peace.
Oh shit! Now I missed the piece too. Damn.
Oh man.